Hello, everyone. Welcome to the cover reveal of Chromium Rise, the first book in the Invasion of the Chromium series by William L.J. Galaini.
Hi.
Welcome, welcome. How are you?
I am good, madam. And how are
Good,
you?
good, good. So excited. And this is your first cover reveal with Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing. So
It
I'm
is.
so excited for you to come along and play with us. Let me give the audience a little bit of background and read your bio. So we have William L.J. Galaini has failed at more things than most folks even attempt.
Mm.
Given his refined process of failure, he has streamlined his wordcraft and now produces books, short stories, and game narratives that are about what he knows best: idealistic losers that save the day. I love it. That's a great bio. Look
Thank
at
you for
that.
not
Nicely
making me
done.
read it. I appreciate that.
No, that's too weird. That's too many third persons.
Yeah,
That's
that's standing in front of class reading the essay you wrote on what you did over the summer. That's what that is.
Well, this one for everyone following along at home, this is the first book in the Misplaced Adventures universe.
God,
So we are
wow.
really excited. We are over halfway.
Yeah, this
Can you believe
is
it? What's this
that.
been like
Okay, so
20
you've got
months in the making or something?
5 in Kevin's base series. You've
Mhm.
got 4 other series rolling, and you're not at, you started book 2 on one of the series already, right? Did book 2 get revealed in one of the
Yeah,
side series? Yeah,
Jen
yeah,
has,
One Good
it's
Eye,
not
right?
revealed. It's
Oh, it's
not
not revealed,
revealed,
just
but she
announced.
did
Okay.
turn in her draft. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, that's where I was getting confused. Okay.
Mhm. That's because she's first, right? So hence
Right, because she
it's
was the one who
quicker.
had her shit together and actually got the book done on time.
Yeah, that's kind of why we nominated her to go first. That's
Yeah,
exactly what
you
happened.
called that one pretty well. That was good.
Mhm,
Well
mhm.
done. Way to go, Jen. Just being type A personality, making us all look bad.
No, she just leads the way, so we all know how to catch up.
Yeah,
I love it.
like I
It's
said,
wonderful.
made us all look bad. She just has to outrun us, not the bear.
I love it. All right, so let's go ahead and quit torturing everyone with this horribly mocked up cover. I do the best I can covering them. I get bored using the same thing over and over again. And let's reveal the gorgeous cover. Yes, Molly does such a good job. Yay! Hey, the sound was perfect. I knew exactly when the cover was revealed. I like it. It's perfect. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. So blue is your color.
Hmm.
So it works because of the chromium are your monsters.
Hmm.
So they come in pretty earlier, and I would say we're not giving anything away by saying the chromium are the villains in this, considering that's the name of the entire series. Can you tell us just a little bit about the chromium?
I wanted to, so like when I was a kid and found out that uh exobiologists kind of speculated that animals could be silicon based and not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily carbon based. That was the most interesting thing in the world to me because it would have to be just such heavy creatures and it'd have to live in completely different gravitational environments, etc. So I always wanted to write something where a being was not carbon based. And so what I did is in this fantasy setting, it gave me some leeway. And I made them all from a plane that's all metal. So everything that makes them is pure metal. Their blood is liquid metal, mercury. Their muscle fibers are cobalt tungsten strings that are wound up. Their outer hide is chrome. So just that's why I went with the chromium.
I love it. I love it. It's the most sci-fi feel of any of the series. So I really like it. That's part of the benefit to having different authors write in
Hmm.
this amazing world is that you get the different voices, but with the same kind of feel. So I love it. I think it's amazing what you're doing. And the audience loves it too. Kimball says it's really cool. Justin is dope AF. Liz says nice. So we've got lots of people.
Hey, Kimball. There's a
Yes, yes,
character in this
yes.
named Gauntz, by the way, Kimball. He'll know what it means.
um the yes, well, you had two people in here. We'll talk about that too, so we'll be able to
Hmm.
send those out. Ellerby loves a little skull on the O, right? It's really cool. Yeah, Jen likes that too. They're exploring this lost civilization, so there are some remnants of the former one. And before we get into that, let me quickly read the back cover copy so everyone knows how awesome it is. And if you will see, you can also get the pre-order is available on Amazon right now. It will be on Kindle Unlimited. And so you can get that at cursedragonship.com. Chromium Rise, or you can just go to the link that Zafo just put in the thing. So back cover copy. Orphaned and alone in the world, Arvin heads to the only place desperate enough to take him, the camp of a war chief. Though the elders in charge of assignments aren't impressed with Arvin, the war chief himself, Everic, finds his alchemy skills and unique way of solving problems interesting and possibly useful. With the help of his brilliant wife, Visteria, who has goals of her own, Everic plans to raise Vistard from its humble standings into a legitimate 14th kingdom, equal to Greenshade in terrain and power. He sets Arvin to solve a mystery locked below the sand in an ancient underground ruin, a source of power unlike anything any of them have ever seen. When Arvin and Visteria make a breakthrough, their celebration is cut violently short by the arrival of a vicious, unkillable race of beings that quickly ravage the human army, the Chromium. Now Arvin and Visteria must use all of their skills to thwart the rise of the Chromium, or the 14th kingdom will fade before it ever had a chance to shine. And the Chromium will spread across the 13 kingdoms, destroying all in their wake, and possibly beyond. Their time is running out. I love it. Just for all of you out there who don't do this for a living, can I tell you how hard it is to write these back cover copies? And I think we did a pretty darn good job, William. What do you think?
Yeah, you went back. You really saved it. I mean, I like that you didn't want too many words. Like the word count was what, 200?
Yeah.
And so like I squeezed out like 110. And I'm like, I hope that's enough. And then you went through and polished it up. I gave too much away. Like I did, and then this, so that's my problem is I tend to focus on plot and less on immediacy. So
And the
thank you for helping
character.
me with it.
It's the important part.
Mm.
I love it. It's the marketing skill involved here. So we love the Chromium, and we love and now every person who joined in, every author who joined in to be in the Misplaced Adventures universe chose a place. Why did you choose Vistard?
I liked the air of the desert. As when it comes to like sword and sorcery type adventures or high magic, or this is kind of a low magic fantasy setting. Then when magic does arrive, it's very powerful, but it's not a high magic setting like where everyone is slinging spells left and right, like D&D or anything. I liked the thought of a desert because I couldn't think of many fantasy stories I've read that were really embedded in desert territories. And something felt less hack and slash about it, like being in like a northern territory, like something of that nature where it would feel a little Viking-esque. And that is a very saturated environment. You have a lot of properties that work in areas like that. But desert, I didn't see enough of. So, and I saw Vistard on his map in the bottom right. And I was just like, oh, that's it, because it's covered in with mountains. It's a territory. And when I read about Vistard, when characters visit it in Kevin's, I think it's the first book, it was just a bunch of mercenaries and outcasts. And I'm still, even though it came out in 2016, I'm still riding the high of Mad Max Fury Road at how good of a movie that was. So something about that where dust gets in every single crevice all the time was just really interesting to me. I really like that.
Yeah, Hibble says it's a good setting for an air of mystery, and for sure, there's definitely mysterious components involved in this. You also have 4 animals, again, not giving anything away, this happens at the beginning, that are converted into people. And it gives an entire different human nature thing to explore. So I'm wondering, why did you want to tackle that kind of question?
I always have encountered, like, Lady Hawk was a favorite of mine as a kid growing up.
Yes.
And I always wondered, like, he couldn't remember when he switched into a wolf what happened during the night, and she couldn't remember what happened when she was an eagle, or I'm sorry, a hawk during the day. And I always kind of wondered how that would work, switching someone's, psyche into a completely different brain and nervous system and just having it just go through that. Like, would she miss flying when she was a person? Did he miss being a wolf? Like, what if he was a wolf and he ran off and had pups with someone else? Would she like be heartbroken and he not realize he had done it? So all these questions came up to me as a kid. And I liked the thought of, if someone converted over, what bits of the animal would carry over with them, like what parts of their personality. So that's what I played with. And also it gave me a characters discovering, exploring the world, and using that as a kind of an everyman, a person to fish out of water story in this as well. And I wanted it to be a cadre of misfits. So there's the four of them, and they're kind of taken care of, but not necessarily led by. I mean, he cares for them, but he's not like a boss or a leader. By Arvin, and Arvin is the character you see in the dead center of the cover, and he's an alchemist. And I made a point of writing him so that he doesn't deal with weapons. He's not into solving things with violence, etc., because that just is not going to work for him. He's someone who uses his smarts, his brains, and despite being awful at it, he will occasionally try diplomacy.
Well, he's also I wouldn't diagnose him, but he's definitely not neurotypical.
Yeah, I
So
made
it's
him
also fun to
neurodiverse
watch him going
intentionally.
through this word. Yeah, the
Because
world
even
with that
he
different
doesn't
way.
get how a lot of these social constructs that people navigate easily operate. It does not come naturally to him at all. So when he winds up dealing with these animals turned people, they make more sense because they don't have a lot of that, a lot of those social barriers they've been trained through to navigate through. If they want something, they just want it. If they fear something, they just fear it. There's no pretense to them. And there's a level of comfort and kind of kinship he feels with these folks as they're grasping their new situation. And he is as well. So it's like when you've got a room full of scared people, if someone is trying to calm everyone else, that's their way of trying to calm themselves sometimes. And that's kind of how I went with Arvin. But I wanted someone to be neurodiverse in this scenario because a lot of times in fantasy settings, I would often wonder about, like, well, what about epilepsy? What about, different issues that we don't have medical treatments for or even psychological treatments for in this setting? Because everyone
Yes, kind of
in,
skipped over. Yeah.
yeah, like a lot of traditional
Hmm.
fantasy settings I read, it's like, well, everyone seems to be, fairly well adjusted. No, no, where a lot of us are flailing about on our own in a daily life where we do have those treatments. So I can't imagine what it would be where we don't.
Hmm.
So that's why I wrote
Yep,
Arvin.
I love it. And Jen Arvin was raised by an alchemist too. Exactly. So I'm sure
Yeah,
the alchemist, he was stuck in his hut. He wouldn't have exactly been neurotypical either, I am sure.
right. Yeah, and I hinted
Hmm.
at that, and Jen, of course, picked up on it pretty quickly.
Yep.
That this
Yep.
guy might have recognized that Arvin was more like him, and that might have been one of the big reasons why he took Arvin in to raise him. Was like, oh, this
Mhm.
kid's like me.
Yep. Come on in, kid. I get you.
Yeah,
Let's work on chemicals and not talk. It'll be great.
yeah. Don't smell them.
It did
It's yeah, yeah.
work. um, Florida Kevin says watching Arvin's thinking arrive at the next answer to whatever horrible situation he's in is utterly compelling. It is. I really like it. I like the way you did that. Sometimes people, when authors, when they write their characters and they're too much in their head, as in too much like inner thought,
Hmm.
it throws you for a loop. But this one, it actually adds color. It's like it's necessary, so we know what's going on with Arvin. I love it. So
And
it's nicely
hopefully,
done.
my intention is also to display how his mistaken thinking can also operate the same way. Like at
Hmm.
least when he reaches conclusions that we would consider mistaken, we'll be like, I can see how he got there, and that was my focus too.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. I love it. And Ellerby and Ethan came on and they're like, hey, you're doing great. And we're going to go order
Uh,
our copy now. So you did great. So anyone
oh,
else who wants to pre-order, go
oh,
ahead.
they are open. Okay, so where do we get the pre-orders? I was actually going to ask you that
You
because I didn't check.
Yes, you can get it. The links, Zapho just put them in the
Okay,
chats. So they are in all the chats. And also you can go to cursedragonship.com/chromium rise.
okay.
And that'll take you right to the pre-order.
I'll be pushing that
Um,
on everybody now.
Yeah, even if you have Kindle Unlimited, it's
Hmm.
still good to pre-order because if you pre-order them, then it'll just show up as soon as it releases. Um, so excellent, excellent. So I think we have probably talked enough at this moment, and we
Okay.
should have you read a little bit from the inside. Um,
Okay. Now there's a chapter that you picked that
I
you
did because I
particularly
think it's
enjoyed.
perfect.
Okay.
I think it's perfect. If you
Um,
just
yeah.
want to set up, right? So where we are is Arvin has been taken in by Everic, the warlord, just like it says on the back of the cover copy.
Hmm.
I'm trying not to give spoilers, so I just want to make it clear we're giving nothing away except fun, because some of the fun in here is when Arvin meets the what did you call them?
Um, but the animal troop is, I mean,
Yeah, you had a name and now I can't remember.
well, this character's name is Bastard.
Yes, well, so the character, right? So
Yeah.
he used to be a badger and he
Yes.
is now a human. And then you have Arvin not knowing really what to do with these people. And then you have the guards who are, you know, not very educated or kind people. And so we are there when Arvin first gets to meet Bastard. So, William, take it away.
Okay. Um, I'm seeing the exact good spot. Okay. Arvin is waving around a pipette. Bastard snarled at it, or possibly at Arvin's motion of waving it around just before his bearded face shifted to a grimace of pain. Rib. Definitely a fractured rib, or broken, Arvin thought. Without considering, Arvin reached forward toward Bastard's midsection. He wanted to check for a popping to accompany each of his cellmates' deep breaths. If that's severe, he felt he should bind the rib. But not too tight. He has to breathe. Arvin chomped his teeth right at Arvin's fingers. Arvin yelped and climbed backward onto the foot of the ruined mattress. Luckily, Bastard left it at that and went back to coddling his chest with both arms. Arvin thought to apologize, but that would subject Bastard to hearing his voice again, and he didn't want to risk it. Not without a plan of what to say. My message has to outshine my nasally voice. Thinking on the word bastard, Arvin couldn't help but perseverate. He suddenly felt the need to bond. They could be here for a long time, after all. Who knows when the guard would finally open the cell to let him out? Mr. Bastard, Arvin began carefully. I'm a bastard, too. That isn't to presume that your bastard experience is equivalent to my bastard experience. I mean, to each bastard their own journey. But Arvin paused to watch Bastard for signs of growing hostility, but Bastard seemed to be growing more preoccupied with his injury. Feeling encouraged that he could keep all of his fingers, Arvin continued his attempt at verbal bonding. Reveal a vulnerable detail about yourself. Establish truthful reciprocity. So, my father didn't love my mother. I'm sure of it. Mother might have loved him, but I don't really know. Either way, I know some bastards are born out of love that doesn't fit their circumstances, but I don't have that romantic consolation. Bastard looked distant, his eyes focusing on a landscape far beyond the solid walls of the cell. He curled his feet under himself and eased from his corner and out onto the floor a bit. With a passing glance, Bastard looked as if he was annoyed with Arvin's presence more than anything, but his hostility continued to wane. So Arvin continued. As one bastard to another, I feel we have more in common than not, Arvin pressed. I mean, there are apparent differences. I have clothes, whereas you have impressive amounts of body hair to do the job. My teeth are crooked, but your teeth are fantastic. Your canines are long. Seriously, so long. And I'm not currently suffering an injury. But he remembered to focus on their common ground. I do see we are in the same cell together. Both of us are bastards within the purview of the word, and we indeed both appreciate the joy that is clean water from a wall boob. With that, Arvin's thirst got the better of him. He leaned over and latched onto the drinking nipple of the soft water dispenser and took a swift suckle. The water was perfect, crisp, and spring fresh. It required immense effort for Arvin to pull himself away after only a mouthful. Thank goodness he isn't possessive of his wall boob, and he seems to be a really good listener. Keep him engaged. May I help you with your hurt there? Arvin pointed to Bastard's clasped hands on the side of his chest where the guard kicked him. Bastard looked at Arvin's pointed finger with a vacant expression. Good. He's no longer hostile. Here, I'll show you what I'll do. Arvin reached out with both hands. It startled Bastard, and the hairy man jumped away with a snarl that quickly devolved into a whooping cough. He wheezed and clasped at his chest, sharp misery on his face. Too dumb. Too fast. Too dumb. Dumb, dumb, dumb. Arvin panicked, desperate to undo his carelessness. Bastard was in pain, and each cough sounded worse. He swiftly fumbled through his bandolier for something. A painkiller or a muscle relaxant would likely work. Not the base, not the ethanol. God's not the acid. Here. He pulled a small pouch of crushed alkaloids. He was pretty sure it wasn't the poisonous one. That one he kept nearer to his shoulder. Fumbling it open, he pressed his fingertips into the collected brown powder and swiftly brushed Bastard's lips. For the pain. The man was coughing far too violently to defend himself from the slapdash application of medication. But When he realized Arvin was standing so close and had touched his face, he flailed his arm wide and knocked the pouch away. It flew into the air, puffing out its contents everywhere in a cloudy haze. Oh no. Arvin tried to hold his breath, wondering how much of a dosage was lingering in the air. He clasped both his hands over his nose and mouth, hoping that if he could hold his breath long enough for the powder to settle, he would avoid any effects. The currents in the air could now be seen, and the cell was revealed to be well ventilated. Porous rocks along the floor pushed air in, while similar pores pulled air out near the silicate roof. Good. Just wait out the ventilation. He leaned against the far wall, as if to avoid the air itself, while watching Bastard's cough ease. He likely got a massive dose, his pain now gone. Not just the pain from his lip application, but also his desperate lungs coughing and quivering. Oh no, I hope I didn't kill him. How much is too much? Bastard's arms drifted to his sides. With tearful eyes, he began examining his hands intently while gnashing his teeth. Guilt swelled in Arvin. He had tried to save the man from being pinched in half, only to drug him into oblivion. Bastard could die, his blood pressure dropping and his heart fluttering to a stop. And then all of the unicorns would no longer paint with their rainbow tails. What? Arvin's concern over the unicorn coven grew considerably. They would toss off the gremlins on their backs and take to flight around the moon. All on a quest for cheese. The runny kind of cheese that soaks proper, stone-baked bread. When the bread gets soaked like that, it becomes sad and begins to cry. No unicorn likes that. Oh no! When the room shifted to the yellow color, Arvin finally grasped that he was on a psychedelic trip. He fumbled at his bandolier, certain that an antidote was somewhere to be found, but his fingers turned into noodles, and his bandolier sprouted wings and soared off into the sky while crying freedom. He wasn't even angry. The liberation of his alchemist kit was a beautiful sight to see, especially after all it endured during its childhood. Holding back tears of solemn joy, Arvin wished it well as it soared into the distant horizon. Without context, I'm not sure how much that works. But I guess the context will be found.
I think, just for the record, the chat was having so much fun with wall boob, right? Like,
Oh, yeah,
I love
there's
that term as well. Yeah.
That's a common term, yeah. That was a whole other part of the chapter.
No, I love, but everyone knew what it was. It was right away. It made sense, right? Like, even Petway says that he's recently installed various drink boobs in their kitchen. Tea, soda, beer. You know, it's important. They always come in threes. And Jen's like, yes, because boobs always come in threes.
Total Recall.
That's all we think, right? Our generation, it pops
Total Recall. Yeah, thanks, Paul Verhoeven. We appreciate that.
No, that's a perfect scene, because you see that whole bonding. You see how Arvin thinks differently, where the guards are terrified of Bastard, where Bastard is, he's violent because he's scared. He doesn't know where he is or why he's there, and he's trapped. And then you have Arvin just looking at everything completely different. Like, oh, this is a person who's hurt. Maybe I can help them. And then Bastard somehow sensing that he's different and not going to hurt him. So you get all of these nuances in that one little chapter. So actually, it's in one section. That's not even the whole chapter.
Well, I try to read in that
I think
animals have a good sense of people. Like, you always beware a person that dogs don't like. So I tried to lean into that a bit here as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. No, it's really well done. So everyone, make sure to pre-order your copy, and we want to make sure that William, do you have any final words? Like, who do you think this book is perfect for? What kind of reader?
Someone who's probably, the whole series itself has this wonderful sense of personality. All of the Misplaced Mercenaries adventurers do. But someone who wants to see something that straddles the line a little bit into not quite sci-fi, but magic isn't the solution to anyone's problems. Magic sort of is the problem, and this is about regular folks trying to solve that problem. So I took power away and let people just use their imaginations as they solve things around them. So people who like things outside the box.
Nope, it's great. Well, magic is not the main point of Misplaced Adventures, right?
Yeah,
Magic is in this world. It is a fantasy world. It does exist.
Right.
But that is not the all-powerful thing that is in this world. It's more about the people and their personalities. So you are right on board. So it's perfect.
I was very happy with that. There's no mage schools and all this other. They're not treated like monks, etc. There's no like severe practitioners who trade their secrets. I really liked that about this setting.
Yep. It's very cool. All right, awesome. Well, William, you are wonderful. Hopefully you are have one thing off of your shoulders now that the cover has now been revealed and you can share it far
Yay.
and wide.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And release
Absolutely.
day is January 23rd. So it will be our first release of the new year, and we will be here on all of these places again. And so we hope to see y'all here. Did I forget anything?
I don't know. It's your show.
What is it? I'm not sure.
Well, he said you were the boss.
He said I was authority. That doesn't necessarily mean okay. Yeah, no, I think we're good. Awesome.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, William. I hope everyone else had a great Thanksgiving as well. And we will see you Tuesday. We have DH Dunn on Tuesday. He's got an awesome book release, One More Turn. So we'll see you then.
Okay. Thank you.